Hello, Stephanie here with Space of Love. And today we'll be moving through a Wings of the Heart yoga flow. In this flow, we'll be endeavoring to open the space of the chest and find a little bit more expansive, spacious quality here in the space of the chest, shoulders, and in our breathing capacity. And so, wherever you are, we don't need any equipment. You might want a mat. And you're going to start in a seated, comfortable position, something that feels relatively comfortable for you. And we're going to start by tuning into a practice of the breath. And so first, let's bring our hands to our low abdomen or our belly. And from here, we want to see if we can elongate the spine and try to resist rounding forward or arching back. If that means you need a little support under you to allow a neutral pelvis, then give yourself the space for that. You might want to adjust the way in which you sit. And so from here, bringing the hands to the low abdomen, you might want to close the eyes or soften the gaze, relax the shoulders, finding a spacious, tall spine from the tailbone all the way up and through the crown of the head. And as we tune into our breath, begin to draw your awareness to the belly, the space your hands are gently touching. And starting to breathe into that space. Perhaps the inhale expands the belly. The exhale might draw the belly in gently. See if you can resist lifting and dropping the shoulders. Stay focused on the space of the belly. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. And in and out. And in and out. And try this a few times with your breath. You might choose to start expanding the space of the inhale and also lengthening and drawing out the exhale. Breathing through the nose if that's available to you today, slow and steady. Here we are awakening a deeper movement of our diaphragm, one of the primary muscles for breathing. And so each time you breathe in, the diaphragm draws down and expands the belly. Each time you breathe out, the diaphragm draws up and in to push the air out as the navel draws in towards the spine. We always begin our practice by coming home to an intimate relationship with the breathing body. So much of our day is breathing in an unconscious way, mostly shallow breathing, not a lot of diaphragmatic movement. But here we're opening up the full capacity to breathe in oxygen and the full capacity to release carbon dioxide from the body, from the bloodstream. Each breath a process of cleansing, of nourishing. And one more deep breath in the belly like this. And then we're going to take these hands and move them up to the lower rib cage. So we're going to make a sort of C formation between the index finger and thumb. Find the very bottom of your rib cage, wrap the index finger around the front of the lower ribs, and the thumbs wrap right around the back of the low ribs. And from here we start to become aware of this three-dimensional possibility of our breathing body. So not only expanding and contracting in a forward motion, but we're going to feel that when we inhale, the ribs expand in all directions. And when we exhale, they gently draw in all directions. So with your hands there, relax the shoulders. Let's return to this conscious breathing pattern. Slow inhale through the nose. Slow exhale through the nose. Your awareness staying with the basket of the ribs, where your hands are just there to gently touch, to feel. Noticing the three-dimensional movement of the breathing body. Each breath an expansion and a contraction. See if you can stay relaxed in the shoulders, the neck, and the jaw, even the backs of the eyes. Try one more round of breath like this. Good. And then finally, let's bring the hands to the upper chest. If you want, just one hand while the other hand rests. And here we're going to bring our awareness to breathing in to the very tops of the lungs, the upper lung capacity. So as you breathe in, bring all your awareness to the movement of the chest as it inflates in all directions. Shoulders stay relaxed. Try not to hunch up to your ears and create stress here. Simply breathe in, expand. Breathe out, feel the chest softening naturally. Maybe you even experiment with taking an extra sip of air at the top when you feel like there's no more room to breathe. And maybe at the bottom you experiment with breathing all the way out. One more breath here. Keep this one hand on the upper chest, and now bring your other hand all the way to the low belly. So now we have these 3 points of awareness in our body. We have the low abdomen, we have the rib cage in all directions, and we have the upper chest, even the upper back and side body. And so we're going to take a full breath that slowly weaves its way through all these breath points. And so as you inhale, you might notice the belly expand, then the expansion of rib cage, and then the chest all the way to the top of the inhale. As you exhale, chest softens, the ribs draw down and in gently, and the belly draws in naturally. Nothing to force here. So let's try this. Again, maybe the exhale becomes longer than the inhale. And this can be helpful in signaling to our nervous system that we are calm, that we are in a state of ease, and that we do not need to react with a fight or flight mode response. Take one more full round of breath at your own pace. Good. We're going to get a little deeper now into the scalene muscles, which run from the back of your ear all the way down the side of the neck and into and behind the upper pec muscle. So when these muscles are really tight and contracted, we can find it hard to open the chest. We can find it hard to breathe in our full capacity. And this body posture of sort of hunching and contracting can affect the way we feel energetically, emotionally, and physically. So getting into the scalenes and opening these up, we're going to start by bringing left hand to your left upper chest. Right hand to your left upper chest. So you're crossing the body. Then take your left hand on top. And you're going to apply a little pressure down and then towards the armpit. So you're pushing towards the chest and pulling down slightly. Shoulders remain level. Spine remains as tall as possible. Again, if you want to switch the legs or find a position that feels more comfortable for you to sustain, maybe you want a cushion under your seat, whatever allows you to find an upright spine. So, hand on top is pushing in and pulling down, creating just a little bit of tension. Then we're going to move our head in the opposite direction, so right ear towards right shoulder. You might begin to feel a stretch there. So I invite you to take this slowly and start to explore. Maybe your ear is lowering towards your shoulder. And try to resist the left shoulder popping up. Let's see if we can level the shoulders with the hips. Just the head and neck moving. And from here, I invite you to explore. You might turn the chin down slightly. You might tilt the chin up slightly. You're just exploring where sensation is present for you. In this and in all of our practices, we don't need to go into a place of pain. So if there is a sharp or electrical sensation, ease off. But what we do want to become curious about is discomfort. So we go into the spaces of discomfort and we breathe so deeply there. So that full breath that we were cultivating, let's return to that as we continue to be with this stretch of the scalene muscles. So breathing full. You might imagine that each inhale is illuminating the sticky spots, the tension, and each exhale is gently sweeping it away like you would sweep the floors of your room. And then if you want to get a little more playful, you can start to explore with the tongue. So from here, you might stick your tongue out as you continue to tilt the head. Maybe you even try to lick your shoulder. Notice how that feels and what sensations and stretches that wakes up in the deep intrinsic musculature. You might wiggle your tongue around. I like to make noise because it's a little more playful. You might also move the jaw around. keep exploring for another 3 full breaths wherever you are. When you're ready, slowly release the hands, bring your head back to center. Take a moment maybe to roll the shoulders gently up and back and down. Again, if you need to adjust your seat to be comfortable, give yourself that time. And then we're going to take it to the other side. So, left hand crosses to the right upper chest, so below the collarbone to the upper pec muscle. Right hand on top. Press and then pull down towards your armpit, as much as feels appropriate for you. And then start to tilt your left ear towards your left shoulder without bringing your right shoulder along with it. So, shoulders level, right ear to right shoulder, and then start to explore, just as we did before. Where does sensation arise for you? Patiently leaning into any discomfort that is present with the fullness of your breath, the fullness of your awareness. Just this breath, just this sensation. Exploring in your way. Each exhale sweeping the tension away, breath by breath. And then maybe you stick the tongue out. Or reach that tip of the tongue as far out as you can. Maybe you wiggle the jaw and the tongue. And then wherever you are, take another 3 breaths in your exploration. Maybe you pause in one place. Noticing the shift in experience with each breath. No 2 breaths are the same, and no 2 moments are the same in our body-mind. And when you feel ready, slowly come back to center, release the hands. Take a moment to notice what you feel, what is present. And then we're going to let the neck roll gently side to side. So lowering the chin towards the chest, keeping the spine relatively upright. Take a deep breath in here. And as you breathe out, bring right ear to right shoulder. Let the breath in carry the chin forward and down. And the breath out takes the left ear to the left shoulder. Moving like this with your rhythm of breath. You might find a little pause between the exhale and the inhale. Between the inhale and the exhale. And as you move gently with presence, compassionate curiosity, if you find a place that needs a little extra attention, you might stay there for another breath. Being so kind with what you discover. Know that bringing your attention to these places of tension, simply seeing it, allows it to move through, allows it to soften its grip on us. So don't attack the tension, but rather hold space for it. Breathe with it. See it clearly. And the next time your head comes down through center, pause there. And then slowly roll the head back up to center. And we're going to do one more on our seat here. And so if you need to change your seat again, maybe switching the legs. Again, give your body what it needs here. There's nothing to force. And so from here, we're going to get into a little upper spine articulation. So starting to work extension and retraction, protraction, retraction. And so from here, we're going to take our arms up and bring them to the backs of the head. So we're interlacing hands right at the base of the skull, right at the head, and the elbows are nice and wide. From here, we're going to explore. As you breathe in, start to let the hands pull the back of the skull up and lift your chin gently as your upper chest starts to look towards the sky, almost as though a little string is pulling it up. From here, we're not letting the back of the neck crunch, but rather we're elongating the back of the neck and pulling it up and back, as though there were a little high jump bar that you wanted to reach up and over with the back of your head. At the same time, try to resist flaring the ribs. Draw in with the low belly, draw the low ribs in. Let the lift happen from the upper chest. Let it be slow. The inhale takes us here. Then with the exhale, we're going to draw this upper chest in, draw the chin in, and maybe draw the elbows together any amount. We're not rounding too far forward. Rather, we're staying upright and isolating this movement in the upper thoracic spine and the neck, cervical spine. So as you inhale, extend, and then start to open from a place of extension. As you exhale, start to contract and draw in mindfully, moving with your rhythm of breath, starting to work with the wings of our heart, to understand this capacity to expand and contract, to take flight and to ground in the space of the heart. 2 more breaths. And then let's come back to center. Good job. Release the hands. We're going to come down now to a tabletop position. And so from here, finding hands underneath the shoulders, spreading the fingertips wide. The index finger points forward. Knees are under the hips, and your choice. Toes can be curled under, or you can bring the tops of the feet to the mat. If so, try to resist rolling out the ankles or rolling in. Ankles are pointing up to the sky. And from here, we're going to work through a few rounds of cat-cow. But let's begin by drawing our awareness all the way to the tailbone. And so from the tailbone, as you inhale, start to lift the tailbone, tilt the pelvis forward, and then pull the upper chest through the gate of the arms. As it lifts, shoulders draw back. The chin lengthens, but try not to crunch the back of the neck. See how icky that feels? Instead, try extending forward and then a gentle lift. As you exhale, tailbone starts to curl under, the pelvis tilts, and then upper spine rounds. Chin draws in towards chest, and we press the shoulder blades apart on the back actively. Again, inhale from the tailbone, pelvis tilting to the mat, tailbone to the sky. Arcing the spine, lifting the chest forward and up gently. Moving with your breath, each breath from tailbone all the way to the crown of the head. Finding the full fluidity of expansion, contraction, of extension in the spine, and forward flexion in the spine. If you want to add a little bit of effort to this, bring your awareness to your hands. Each time that the spine rounds in forward flexion, push your hands forward energetically towards the top of your mat. Each time that you extend to pull the chest forward, draw the hands or the wrists energetically towards your knees. You won't move the hands in space, but there's this action of pushing the hands forward as you round and puff the back, and then pulling the hands towards you as you open up space in the heart. Let's try a few more rounds here. Notice where the space begins to open up in your body-mind. Stay with the fullness of your breath. And then making your way back to a neutral spine. And from here, I invite you to tune into your heart space and what is felt there. Just a moment, no movement. Feeling into the heart space. And from here, start to let the heart stir and move. And let the rest of your body follow suit. The heart leading you in this exploration of where the body wants and needs to be moved. Tuning into this deeper wisdom of embodiment. Feel free to move the arms. Stay with the steadiness of your breath. The more we start to tune in to this natural body wisdom that is present, the more we can respond in a given moment to what is needed. The more we can honor our boundaries, our desires, and we can start to lean into some of the blind spots in our body-mind awareness. Those spots that we don't always see, feel, or know, but they have so much to teach us as long as we let the heart lead us there. A few more moments in this exploration. And then from here, come back to neutral. Take a moment in relative stillness to simply notice what you feel. What's stirred in your body? And then let's take the knees wide, the toes draw together, tops of the feet to the mat. Let's sit the hips back to the heels. Reach the arms forward as far forward as you can. You might even come up onto tented fingertips. As you send the hips back, finding length in the spine, maybe walking the hips or the fingertips forward, and then bowing your forehead towards the mat. Let's take 3 deep rounds of breath here. Where do you feel the movement of your breath? Bring your hands to the mat. Let's rise up onto the knees. Curl the toes under and lift the hips for downward facing dog. And taking a moment here to pedal out the legs, perhaps bending one knee, reaching opposite heel to the earth. If you like, you might sway the hips. Again, feeling into those parts of your body that need a little awareness in this moment. Staying so steady with the rhythm of your breath. And then from here, looking towards the palms of your hands, we're going to take step by step, little baby steps on the balls of the feet towards the hands. Feel free to bend the knees as you need, getting as close to the hands as possible. When you arrive, feet might be approximately hip width apart, maybe a little more, a little less. Let's bend the knees a lot or a little and relax the whole spine. Maybe holding opposite elbows and letting the head fall gently like an apple hanging from a tree. And then invite a gentle sway side to side in the upper body. Again, staying present with your breath. And then let's relax the arms completely, strong through the legs. And slowly, with knees bent, beginning to roll up through the spine. Take your time. Feel the process. When you arrive, as you arrive, allow your shoulders to relax. From here, we're going to start to wake up a little more fluidity with the wings of our heart. And so, let's take the arms wide, 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 wide. Again, feet might be about hip width distance apart. Try to ground the feet. You might even spread the toes wide. A little bend in the knees. And then allow the pelvis to be a bit buoyant. So we're not arcing forward nor back, but we're finding a sort of sweet spot in the center. And then from here, we're going to reach the arms wide, palms facing forward, and start to extend them back. Maybe they're beyond or behind our peripheral vision. Maybe we start to lift this upper chest skyward and maybe look up. But remember, let's not crunch the neck. Let's see if we can elongate up and open. And then from this place, we're going to take the arms forward, wrap the elbows, right elbow under left. Bring your arms around, maybe you touch your shoulders, maybe you wrap around to grab your shoulder blades as you gently forward flex. So chin towards chest, upper spine is rounding. We're not going to go all the way, but we're going to stay in the upper spine. Legs are so strong, engaged, glutes on line, abs on line. So from here, as we're gently forward folding, take a moment to feel this space. And then we're going to move through this with a little bit of rhythm. Rhythm of the breath. As you inhale, reach up, expand the wings of your heart, open, elongate through the fronts of the hips and legs, abs engaged and strong, open the chest. Exhale, start to draw the chin in, hands come forward, wrap your arms, a gentle forward flexion. With the breath, inhale, open, spread your wings. Exhale, ground in the space of the heart. We're going to add a little something to this as you continue to move. Each time the arms come forward, we're going to switch the elbow that is on the bottom. So getting a little different sensation this time. And continuing to move with your breath and switching elbow that is on bottom each time we come forward. If you need to slow this down and pause for a full breath, perhaps at the top of the expansion or at the bottom of the flexion, then allow yourself that. If you want to add a little bit of dynamic energy, you can start to move a little more quicker. Next time we open, let's pause there. And from this open space, we're going to reach the arms up. You might interlace the fingers and turn the palms of your hands to the sky. Continuing to open. A nice stretch for the fronts of the wrists. Reaching up for 3, 2, and 1. Let's take the arms wide and bring them down to the side body. Bring one hand to the heart, one hand to the belly. Let's take 3 rounds of these full breaths. Inhaling belly, ribs, chest. Exhaling chest, ribs, and belly. 2 more. Release the arms, standing at the top of your mat, feet hip width. We're going to inhale, reach the arms up, and then take the arms wide. Lead with your heart as you bow with a long spine all the way down. Slow release the arms. Inhale to halfway rise, hands to your shins, lengthening the spine all the way through the back of the neck. Exhale, folding forward. 2 more, just halfway rise with the inhale. Exhale to release. 1 more. This time, we're going to step back with the right foot and lower the knee. Bring the top of the foot to the mat. Framing the front foot with fingertips or palms or fists if your wrists need a little break. And from here, let's see about lifting the chest, proud, elongating, long through the back of the neck. And then we can stay here if we like, breathing. If you like, take the arms wide, reach up, and extend the arms back, opening the chest here. Keep lengthening through the back of the neck. Try to resist crunching into the low back and draw your tailbone down energetically. Imagine hugging your front heel towards your back knee and find some energy there that arrives deep in the base of the pelvis. This is your place of support. As you open up, breathe in. Exhale just the arms and upper body, wrapping around, forward flexion. Inhale, open up, expand. Exhale, round. Draw in and in and in one more time. And forward. Inhale, open up, reach back. And exhale, hands beside the foot. Let's pick up the back knee, curl the toes. We're going to step back to a plank position. In our plank, let's try to bring our heels up over the balls of the feet. Really strong through the legs. Option to bring the knees down here. We're going to lower down to the mat for a count of 5. So wherever you are, breathe in. And on the exhale, lower for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Flip the feet, tops of the feet press into the mat. Press all 10 toenails, even your pinky toenails, down energetically. As you do this, try to draw the low belly in. Press the pubis bone down. Legs are engaged. From here, hands are under the shoulders, elbows back. We're going to start small with this, with our Cobra Pose. So let's inhale, lift the chest. Draw the shoulders and elbows back. And from here, maybe a gentle looking forward. Try not to crunch the neck. Instead, extend and lift from the place of the upper chest. Exhale to lower with slow control. Inhale to lift up and back. Exhale, slow descent. One more time. Inhale. This time, lift the hands to float just above the mat. Breathing for 3, 2, and 1. Lower the hands, lower the upper torso, curl the toes under. Let's rise to hands and knees, and then up and back, downward facing dog, lifting the hips. And let's take a moment here, breathing either in stillness or pedaling the legs. If you notice tension has crept into the neck, maybe give a gentle rock of the head side to side. Find a little more effort through the index finger and thumb of your hand. And allow the shoulders to upwardly rotate. And they're not collapsing inwards on the back, but they're gently pressing away from one another. And the upper biceps roll in towards the ears slightly. And then from here, let's draw both legs together at the center of the mat. And then bring the right leg to lift up without opening the hip first. Keep drawing your left heel down. Right heel reaches up. And then start to open the hip. Bend the knee and draw your heel towards your glute. You might turn to look under your right armpit. Breathing here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to slowly draw that knee forward, draw our gaze down. We're going to reach the knee forward towards plank, hug the knee in, hold here. Inhale, reach the arm or the leg up, open the hip. Exhale, draw that knee forward. Bring it to your right upper arm, hold here, hover. Inhale, reach up and back, open the hip. Exhale, forward to your left upper arm, hover here. Inhale, reach up and back. And then forward towards your nose, hover, hover, step the foot through. Lower the back knee. Take a moment here to ground in your low lunge. Again, you might find fingertips, fists. If it's helpful to walk your hands up to your thighs, we can try that. And then in your own time, if it feels appropriate, extending the arms back, spreading your wings, finding the extension. And then 3 rounds, breathing out, contracting, breathing in, expanding and extending. The next time you extend, pause here. Take another deep breath in. And exhale, bring your hands to the ground. This time we'll lift the back knee and step forward, feet hip width. Relax the spine, bend the knees as much as you need. And then bending the knees a little more, we're going to slowly roll up through the spine. As you arrive at the top, relax the shoulders. And then standing, we're going to bring our hands up and once again, cradling the base of the skull. And so from here, as you inhale, start to reach back, expand, lengthen, a little pull up on the base of the skull, lengthen the neck. Exhale, draw in. This time we're going to add to it. Inhale, reach up. And as you do, then bring your elbow to the right as you breathe out. And come forward into flexion. Inhale, left elbow reaches to the side. We open. And all the way to the top. Exhale to the right as we round in. We're going to keep moving in this way. Expanding. And contracting. One more time in this direction. The next time you get all the way up to the top, pause there, and we'll go to the left this time. And try to let it be one fluid motion. And feel into the strength of your low body, the abs, the glutes. As we invite resilience in to the upper body. A supple quality, a spacious quality, but also a courageous strength. And then come all the way up. Reach the arms up, interlace your hands, turn the palms of the hands to the sky. And as we exhale, we'll take the arms wide, bow forward, long spine, lead with the heart. Inhale to halfway rise. And then exhale to release. We'll step back to a plank. Take a deep breath in and lower slowly as you exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Tops of the feet to the mat. This time, reach the arms back, palms facing up. As you inhale, start to lift the arms back, lift the chest. Stay long through the spine and let the lift happen slowly. If you like, you can lift the legs. Breathing here. Keep reaching fingertips back towards your toes. Keep reaching the heart space forward and up. Long through the back of the neck. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 2, and 1, slowly lowering down. Bring your hands under your shoulders, curl the toes under. Let's rise up to hands and knees, and then back to downward facing dog. And take 3 full rounds of breath here. And then drawing your legs together, let's lift the left leg up, keep the hip relatively closed to start, reach that heel back, and then start to open the hip, bend the knee, point the toes, draw your heel towards your glute. Right heel reaches towards the mat energetically. Maybe you turn to look under your left armpit, breathing into the space. And then start to draw that knee forward. As you roll towards a plank, draw the knee to your nose and hover. Inhale, lift it up and back. Open through the hip. Exhale, knee to your left upper arm. Inhale, up and back. And exhale, knee to your right upper arm. Hover. Inhale, up and back. And exhale, knee towards the nose. Hover, hover, and step through. We're going to keep the back heel lifted. And we're going to rise into a high lunge. You might walk your hands to the front of the knee or thigh. And if you'd like to bend the back knee a little to stay neutral in the pelvis, give yourself that space. From here, opening the wings of our arms, breathing in, and exhaling, rounding forward. Take your time with the balance. Inhale, slowly opening, extending. Exhale, drawing inwards. One more. And rounding forward. Bring your hands to the earth. We're going to step forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. From here, hands to the mat. Step your left foot back, high lunge. We're going to go right up when you're ready. Breathing in. Rounding forward. Expand the wings of your heart. Let space be found. As you round forward, come all the way down, hands to the mat. And step back and lower the knees. Child's pose. This time, if you like, bringing the elbows to the mat and your palms together, walking your elbows as far forward as possible. You might bow your forehead down. You might choose to bow your chin and the space of your heart directly to the mat, if that feels okay in your neck. If so, hands might start to reach back. Maybe they cup the top of the head. And we're going to spend a few breaths here. Letting the space of the heart melt towards the earth where it is always held. Mother Earth, Pachamama, Madre Tierra, holds the primal pulse of our collective heart. And let yourself breathe into and surrender into this space. One more breath. Slowly release your hands forward. We're going to roll through the spine as we walk the hands towards the knees and roll the spine up. Let's come to a tabletop position. Hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. And from here, we're going to now get into the backs of the shoulders, finding some space for the scapula and settling into the stretch a little bit. So, right hand first. Let's inhale, reach the arm up, up, up. Maybe you look towards your fingertips. And then as you exhale, let's weave that arm down. But we're going to weave it through and under the left and just tap our shoulder on the ground. And then inhale, come back up. Open and expand. Exhale, weaving down to tap the shoulder. One more flow like this. Lifting up. And then this time weave it down. Come all the way down and rest your shoulder. You might even walk the shoulder down towards your knees and away from your ear. Bottom arm is extended out beside you. Palm is facing up. If you like, you can take this left hand, bring it to tented fingers, and start to, I'm going to make sure I have space to show you here. Start to walk the fingertips forward until they're just beyond the crown of your head, and then start to lift the elbow towards the sky. You might notice you roll a little more back onto that right shoulder. You might notice the space that opens up. So take a few breaths here. Each inhale is an opportunity to illuminate the necessity for space or the presence of tension that is unhelpful. Each exhale is an opportunity to sweep that unnecessary tension through and eventually out. And when you feel ready, if the left hand is forward, you're going to walk it back to right in front of your face, and we'll press down through the palm, start to lift up, open the right arm once again, reach up as far as you can, and then bring that hand back down to the ground. We're going to go on the other side now. So, finding your tabletop position, grounding through the right palm, left arm starts to sweep up and up and up. Bring it down, weave it under, tap the shoulder, and then we'll press to rise back up, opening, and then weaving down and under, a tap. One more time, just like this. This time we're going to open all the way up. And then we'll weave the arm down and under and stay there. You might walk the shoulder down toward the knees, away from your ear. Left palm or right palm is grounded. If you like, you can come up onto the tented fingers of your right hand and walk the hand forward just beyond the crown of your head. And then open that right elbow and lift. See if you can reveal the right armpit. And see if you can stay centered in your hips, in your core. Let the opening happen in the upper body. And be there for 3 full rounds of breath. From here, pressing down through the right palm, or if it's walked forward, bring it back to it just in front of the face. And then we'll press the right palm, lift up, extend the left arm open and up. And then bring your left hand back and down. And just as we did when we began, we're going to do a few curious spinal explorations. So on hands and knees, bring your awareness back to the center of your heart. And from here, start to let it move you. Notice what's present here, now. Notice what moves, what feels stuck. Give yourself permission to fully explore without it needing to look like anything. And then slowly bring yourself back to center. Take a moment in the stillness to feel what is moving through. And we're going to transition onto our backs. If you want a little ab work before we do, you're welcome to join me. You're welcome to sit up tall with feet about hip width distance apart. And then from here, reaching the arms forward as though you're holding a sort of large ball between the chest and the hands. And then from here, inhale, lengthen the spine. And exhale, lower about 1/3 of the way without rounding the spine. So chest is up, chin is in, back of the neck is long. Take another breath in. Exhale, lower another 1/3 of the way. You might start to walk your heels forward. Take a breath in. And then exhale, let the spine round from tailbone, low back, upper back. We're going to slowly lower with control all the way down. As you do, shoulders ground, arms reach back. Reach through the arms, point through the toes. Whole body is long. Breathe in, stretch. And exhale, soften. 2 more. Breathe in, reach. Exhale. And 1 last time. Let's draw the knees up in towards the chest. Maybe your forehead towards your knees, wrapping your arms around. A little hug in. Returning to the seed of potential that you always are, always have been, and always will be. And then slowly soften to the earth. We're going to take our feet to the mat, about mat width distance apart. So knees are a little wider than the hips. And from here, the arms are extended out either in a T shape, palms facing up, or you can bend the elbows 90 degrees, cactus or goalpost arms, palms facing the sky, the ceiling. And then from here, simply feel where your feet connect with the earth and where your pelvis and the sort of base of your spine connect with the earth. And then we're going to move into a bit of a dynamic twist. I invite this to become a moving meditation for you. Try to be concerned less about getting to any end point, and instead feel the entire process and what stirs in your body. Shoulders stay grounded, arms stay grounded. And then from here, take a deep breath in. Exhale, let both knees start to drift towards the right as you pivot onto the edges of the feet. Who cares how low the knees go? Feel it out. As you breathe in, bring the knees back up. Find both feet grounding, pelvis neutral. Exhale to the left. Again, using the pivot edge of the feet. Keep the shoulders down. Inhale back up. We're going to continue like this, side to side. The exhale takes us to one side. We sweep the tension through. The inhale brings us back to reset. The exhale takes us to the other side. If you want, you can start bringing your head and neck into the equation. As the knees move to one side, the head might turn to look to the opposite side. As you bring the knees back up, the head comes to center. And as you turn to one side, the head moves the opposite direction. Most importantly here, keep the shoulders grounded. This is your neutral point as you pivot on the axis of the spine, getting deep into the hips, the quads, all the way up into the side body, the neck. Working on that continued expansion through the front of the shoulder girdle, the front of the chest. Staying expansive in the space of your heart. Stay with it. Maybe the eyes close and you breathe steady. If you get to one side and you want to pause there for a few breaths, you might bring the bottom ankle or foot up on top of the upper thigh and apply a little weight like an anchor, just to help you get deeper into the stretch of the side of the left side body. For me, it's the right ankle over my left thigh, and so the left side body is receiving the stretch. You might stay a few breaths there. If this creates strain or discomfort in your knee or in any of your joints, we don't need to go here. Be patient, be kind, be compassionate with your body. And switch when you feel it's appropriate. And then when you're ready, coming back to center, we're going to walk the feet into hip width distance apart now. So your knees, hips, and feet are all in the same track. Walking the heels as close to your hips as is possible. Arms down alongside the body, palms face down, and fingertips together, and fingertips energetically reaching in the direction of your toes. Press the backs of your shoulders and your arms down. And then press your low back down for a minute. Notice how that feels. And from here, as we inhale, start to scoop your tailbone up and under towards the sky. As you lift your pelvis up and up and up, keep reaching the hips towards the sky. Keep pressing shoulder blades down. Maybe a little extra lift through the heart space. Try to resist splaying the knees out or drawing them in, but keep the knees in line with your hip crests. Take a deep breath in here, and then exhale to lower all the way down. We're going to move with the breath. So the next inhale, curl your pelvis up, lift, squeeze the glutes, a little opening through the chest, shoulders down. Exhale, slowly round to the spine. all the way down. You're welcome to stay with this exploration for a few breaths, lifting and lowering. If you like, you can stay lifted and walk the shoulders under, walk the arms under, and interlace your fingers, pressing your arms long against the mat. So a whole tripod of support here between your fist and your shoulders. Maybe a little extra lift through the heart space here. And taking another deep breath. If your arms are interlaced, releasing them, slowly lowering down. Pause at the base. And then from here, we're going to lift both the arms and the legs towards the sky. Let your joints simply move. Fingers, toes, wrists, ankles, knees, elbows. All these joints that have been holding us throughout our practice. Let them now flow almost effortlessly. Let them move as they need to be moved without having to hold the entire weight of our body. And then keeping the legs and the arms lifted, we're going to start to shake our limbs as gently or as vigorously as you need. Let all that energy travel down to the heart space, invigorating our heart space with this movement, softening the legs, softening the arms, and taking a few deep breaths with an audible sigh. And slowly draw your knees in, a gentle hug, wrapping the arms around. And then let's take the whole body down into Shavasana, corpse pose. Feet might be as wide as your mat, a little more, a little less. Ankles soft, toes roll out naturally. Arms might spread a foot from the body, palms facing up. You might wiggle one shoulder down the spine and then another shoulder down the spine. Draw the chin in slightly, elongating the back of the neck. Shavasana is essentially a practice for returning our body to an effortless state of being. Corpse pose, it's where we practice dying. So can we start to release the effort where it is not needed? Maybe you notice where in the body you're still holding, tensing, or gripping. And invite it to let go when it's ready. Even our controlled effort with the breath begins to soften, and we allow the breath to find its natural rhythm in this moment, breath by breath. If the eyes are open, they're soft, the backs of the eyes relaxing, and your gaze perhaps resting spaciously on one point above you. If the eyes are closed, the backs of the eyes also Relax as though your eyes are resting in hammocks, maybe even gently swaying in the breeze. Notice the jaw and allow it to soften its grip. Notice the point between the brows and let it melt. Notice the backs of the shoulders where they connect with the earth, the mat, the ground. And let them simply become the earth, the mat, the ground. And then bring your gentle, spacious awareness to your heart. Can you feel its pulse? If so, let your only focus be on slowing the pulse of your heart. If you do not sense the pulse of your heart, notice what sensations are present there in the heart space. Warmth or cool, a heavy, light, or some other kind of sensation. As the rhythm of your heart slows to a resting rhythm, let your only focus be here with your heart as it is. We start to bring our awareness back into the breathing body where we began our practice today. Take a full deep breath into the heart space and let it sound out on the exhale. And twice more. Starting to invite movement back in, perhaps the fingers or toes, wrists and ankles, reawakening, animating. Maybe a big stretch of the arms overhead and the legs long. Maybe a few breaths here as you come back to the space of being, living, aliveness. And in your own time, in your own way, returning to a seat that is comfortable and supportive for you. And if you like, you can bring your hands together in front of the heart space in a gesture of integration of body, mind, heart. You might choose to bring your hands to rest on your heart space, touching it, returning to it. And perhaps closing the eyes or softening the gaze. Noticing simply what is present in sensation, in energy, in flow, in you. Know that every time you embody compassion within, it is something that trickles outwards into the world as it's needed. The more we learn to come home to the breathing body, to the pulse of our heart, and to find strength, receptivity, and resilience in this space, that when we leave our yoga mat, we remember these feelings, we remember this sense of connection, we remember this spaciousness, and we carry this with us. And the more we practice coming home to this space of love, the more everything around us is included in this space of love. So I thank you so much for joining me in the space of love, in this Wings of the Heart flow. May the energy of love always be present in you, in me, and in all of us. Thank you.